頼んだぜ。俺のデビルキラー。
Hey guys, my name's DocJade and welcome to episode 9 of Krastorio. If you couldn't tell by the opening gag, today we're making purple tech cards. One of their main ingredients is productivity modules. I can already tell this is going to take a while. Unfortunately, the math does not work out in our favor here. To make a red belt of purple cards, we would need at least 10 belts of iron plates just for the red belts. And as you will soon see, Past Me is very aware of this fact. Well, we can just scale the production back to 6 belts of total iron plate input. We'll still be able to get about 1,000 cards per minute. So I'll do some balancing and expand our building area. You know what? These bots are taking too long to construct all of this concrete. We need more. Let's take a slight detour and set up some construction robot production. I want to make 1 robot per second, so it shouldn't be too complicated. I'll hook up all these belts and then we can get designing. Now, did you catch that? That slight bit of hesitation? It means I don't believe in this design. I pasted a few more times, but it is pointless. The allure of a better design is calling, and we must heed. Tearing it down and starting over, let's use a more analytical approach. Each flying robot frame assembler needs the output of half of an electric engine assembler, so we can split it like so. And in turn, the electric engine assembler only needs 1 regular engine assembler, so let's put the engines side by side. Now, the fun part, hooking it all up in a way that makes somewhat sense. After fiddling with it for a while, this is the design I came up with. Paste that bad boy a few times, then cobble together some gears and pipes, and connect stuff up. Still need lube though, and delivering lube with bots for bot production is slightly tacky. So let's run a pipe. After connecting steel, we just need to worry about batteries and electronic components. Batteries are pretty easy, we only need 10 chemical plants. After hooking up the sulfuric acid and snaking the copper plates through, we've got batteries. Now for electronic components. I really wish I would have put some on the bus. Oh well, let's get started. Assemblers. Plastic. Stone. Crushers. Filtration plants. Furnaces. I forgot to smelt the quartz. There we go. And now we're making flying robot frames. And there we go. Once all the assemblers warm up, that's 1 bot a second. These inserters will add bots to the network to ensure that we always have around 10,000 construction robots available. Okay, back to purple cards. I was trying to craft the research servers we'll need for the cards, but it looks like we're out of electronic components. Weird. Oh, we stopped producing them. Oh, we're out of stone. Well, since we're already stealing from the stone train, might as well go all in. I'll flip this side of the belt around. That'll fix it. Time for the research servers. We'll need 60 of them. Keeping up with tradition, I'll steal the blank tech card design yet again. Okay, now let's make those belts. There's nothing awfully special about this build, it's just a plain old boring design. But boring is boring, so let's do something less conventional. Let's put a group of assemblers in a line with respect to their ratios. With a little bit of belt weaving, we can output in line. With a wacky belt to put iron on one side of the belt, that's 1 segment done. After doubling it and giving it to the next slot, and repeating that 3 more times, that's our red belt of red belts. Now we just need to hook up all 6 belts of iron plates. There we go, we've got red belts. I'll hook those up. Also, yes, I know you're probably yelling at your phone right now that we don't have enough iron plate production. Yes, I know. We might never be able to saturate the space, but hey, it's fun to build huge. Remember earlier how I said we were going to need 10 belts of iron, so we scaled back to 6? Yeah? Well, now we need 6 belts of stone, and that's also not going to happen. But instead of scaling back this time, I'll just pretend we have 6 belts. I'm also starting to realize how undersized my base is. I'm going to make another inline design like the red belts for the electronic components. You've seen it a million times, but let's walk through it yet again. Crushers. Glass furnaces. Filtration plants. Silicon furnaces. The assemblers were a bit tricky to fit compactly, but I eventually settled on this belt weaving design. I just realized I forgot to add an output. Whoops. There we go. Now I'll run plastic in, hook up the stone, and now we just need to paste this monster build 4 more times. Unfortunately, the belt production is in the way, and the lake is also in the way. So I'll landfill that sucker and then just paste what we can. While we wait for the bitrate storm to pass, I'll start hooking up water and other resources. Then I'll start hooking up the outputs. Construction is waiting on belts, but luckily I know where I can steal some. If we want to build anything else, we're going to have to fill this lake. Bummer. Now let's get started on productivity modules. 3 belts of green circuits and 5 belts of electronic components. Unfortunately, this was way too long. I can only fit 1/3 of the build here, so I'll just have to stack it. But now the ratios are wrong, so I'll redesign it real fast. But it's still too long. Time for more landfill. I took a quick look at our iron production, and it looks like we're not consuming the ore at full speed. And I'm too lazy to build a better balancer, so here's the quick and dirty solution. Does it look stupid? Yes. Does it work? Also yes. Now that I've been fully sidetracked, let's try to improve iron production. We might be able to squeeze more iron out of this patch with some beacons, but I'm not sure if we have enough tech cards to research it. Oh, looks like we already started on it. Let's see. Yeah, that should be enough. Let's go for it. There's beacons. I'll put production for them in the mall. This design has a beacon surrounded by miners. And that's the only good thing I can say about it. Yeah, never mind. Let's just focus on improving miner density and putting speed modules in everything. Also, the landfill and concrete are done. I'll paste the rest of the electronic component production. I totally forgot there's a second iron patch over here. I'll put miners on it too. The first iron patch will now output to the right. This is purely for aesthetic reasons. The second iron patch will also output to the right, but this time for purely unaesthetic reasons. After balancing the output, we can balance the balanced output with the other balanced output in a new balancer to balance the balanced outputs. After all is said and done, we've got solid lanes of iron again. I think there's enough extra in the lines for a third smelting array, so let's set that up. There we go. Once again, our output balancer is stuttering, but this time it's an easy fix. Since inserters prefer one side of the belts can end up unbalanced on their sides. So if we balance the sides here, that should fix the stutter. Now, you saw the title of the video. What could I possibly be neglecting? Uranium. Our uranium mining setup is super slow, and that poses a few problems. Well, one big problem. We're running out of binocular fuel cells. I'm going to try and desperately increase uranium production, but there really isn't much we can do here. It's just not enough. We about tripled our production. This wouldn't be so bad if we had another uranium patch inside of our walls, but since we don't, we have to focus on this one. Expanding with a pending power outage is just too risky. We're down to our last fuel cell here, so it's quite desperate. Imagine if I didn't notice. We'd be screwed. Well, we're still screwed, but slightly less screwed than the worst possible screwage. I'll paste down some more centrifuges. We need to work through this uranium ore as fast as possible. Well, we're down to one reactor. Shoot. Looks like I'll have to dip into our Kovrach enrichment buffer, which really stinks because if it would have been running already, we wouldn't have this issue. That should buy us some more time to come up with a solution. But there's really no way around it. We need more uranium somehow. But how? In classic Jaden fashion, I decided to completely ignore the problem for now. In other news, we now have 12,000 construction robots in the network. Cool. In a complete lapse of judgment, I decided to plug in the rest of the productivity module production. You might see why this is a bad idea. I'll set the recipes on the filtration plants. And now, slowly but surely, we're making electronic components. Let's hook them up to the productivity modules. There we go, all hooked up. Now for the green circuits. And that's the green circuits. They'll slowly make their way across, and the electronic components should meet them in the middle. I'll speed up the video 1000% so you don't have to wait too long. And there we go, we're making productivity modules. Green circuits can't quite keep up, but that's fine. Let's belt those modules. There we go. Now we just need U-238. Wait, uranium. Uranium. Wasn't I doing something with that? Oh yeah! Slightly large issue. We're completely out of fuel cells now. We've got 12 more U-35 chilling in the enrichment centrifuge, but I really don't want to use them. The only way we can get this power plant back online is to get enrichment running, so we need a different power source. Solar panels won't cut it. They only provide less than half of the power we need. Speaking of less than half... We're quickly running out of steam, pun intended, so let's go over our options. Fusion power. Nope, we don't have any DT fuel cells. They were all destroyed in the Spidertron. Solar power. While it isn't up to the task right now, we can definitely place some more. We've got around 2,000 panels chilling in storage. I'm not sure how much that'll help, but we're out of time. After 40 seconds, we're out of accumulator backup, and we drop super low on satisfaction. Fun fact, when laser turrets start to lose power, they take even more power to start shooting again, so you get massive satisfaction numbers like this. Just a casual 2 gigawatts. I cracked under the pressure a little bit and put some more uranium in the fuel cell assembler, but there isn't even enough power to craft it right now. I'll cut back the base as much as possible, but I'm not sure how much it'll help. Disconnecting the iron and copper plates is a good start. Now for the even more fun part. The night. As everything begins to lose power, the laser turrets turn off, and since we don't have any backup defenses, we're kinda screwed till day. I can go defend the walls manually though. But once I finish with one attack, there's always more. Even these tiny attacks with just a few spitters are starting to cause some decent damage all around the walls. There's nothing we can really do about it until day. Good thing laser turrets have the highest power priority. Back at the plant, there's not much going on. Obviously. I'm going to steal from enrichment again and craft a fuel cell with my bare hands. After melting off all of my skin and causing irreparable damage to my DNA, we can turn the plant back on for a little while. Since we need to recharge the base, this might take a second to stabilize. We almost did it, and then night hit. I made 4 more fuel cells and turned on all of their reactors. That should do it. Now we've only got 5 235 left. Not good. We could try expanding uranium mining, but that's probably not the best idea short term. Let's just spam the heck out of solar panels. Hopefully that'll be enough. Efficiency modules couldn't hurt. Let's place some more solar. Well, we ran out of materials. Hopefully we were able to crank out enough of them. There's not really a way around it, is there? We're going to need uranium to kickstart enrichment, so let's just crank as much uranium out of this small patch as possible. After hooking it all up, we can throw down a beacon and shove some speed modules in. We almost doubled our output. Hopefully this will be our saving grace. Plants are down, and now the wall attacks begin. Some of them are minor, but these ones down here are really shredding it up. I'm starting to lose my sanity here. Can you tell? I'm setting up steam power again in a desperate attempt to supplement the base. I'll fuel it with coke. Night again, more attacks. I knew deep down in my heart that the steam power would probably not help, but all I could do was try. And what was the result? 30 megawatts. Not very helpful. As I tore it down, I was nearly slamming my head into my desk, just trying to come up with a way to make a bunch of power quickly with our pre-existing infrastructure. You can see the exact moment when I realized I forgot about gas power stations. Finally, a decent solution. This should actually work. I'll place down all of the ones we have in storage, disconnect the plastic production, and presto! 72 megawatts. Shoot. But worry not, we only need about 500 megawatts total, and we're already making over 400 with the solar panels, so let's just place a few more. After another long, pitiful night of death and destruction, the sun rises. And it's almost working. Satisfaction is almost full. A little bit later, we're in business. The accumulators are charging again. Now we just need to amass enough 235 to kickstart enrichment. A quick time lapse reveals that we've got enough power to make it through the night, too. Sweet. We've got 22 out of 30 uranium-235, so just a bit more waiting. Around 10 minutes later, we're enriching. I'll put in some speed modules to squeeze out as much uranium as possible. I said speed modules. Thank you. Now let's set up a big enrichment loop. It's comically large, but if I was a business major, I would call it future-proofing. After setting up all of the splitters and their priority, I'll move 30 uranium-235 into the loop. Speed modules, because why not? At certain zoom levels, the assemblers line up with the movement speed of the camera. Trippy. I'll steal some of the uranium, the bots will then steal it from me, then it'll end up in the fuel cell assembler. Technically, we could run the entire base off of just solar power and gas generators, but nuclear is cooler. And with that up and running, let's finish purple tech cards. I'll hook plastic production back up, remove the gas generators, and reconnect the furnaces. And place the final belt for the tech cards. With the output hooked up, we can start researching again. Nuclear fuel reprocessing. Might as well set that up. Man, that is a lot of tech cards. Okay, time for the fun part. Coal liquefaction, advanced fuel, braking force 3, inserter capacity bonus 4, logistics 3, worker robot cargo size 2, inserter capacity bonus 5, automation 3, braking force 4, inserter capacity bonus 6, braking force 5, advanced solar panel, personal battery mark 3, nocular locomotive, lab research speed 5. And that's all the research we can do, which means that's the end of today's episode. I'd like to thank my supporters on Ko-fi. Their contribution lets me have fun with linguistic fusion, causing laughter and mild confusion. And that's all for today. My name's DocJade. Bye-bye.
俺の勝ちだ